Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.
This is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? This is the most must-see WWE superstar of all time and his lovely, gorgeous wife,
Marie.
and you are going in SmackDown Live. Who needs Raw?
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss, and you are watching Going In Raw.
Oh, baby, I like it Raw. Oh, baby, I like it Raw. And you are tuned in to Going In Raw right now. How you doing?
Hey, Rendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Also available wherever fine podcasts are, including iTunes, where if you guys hit that download, subscribe button, boy, I really love it because it gets us up in the rankings in the sports and rec category. We're above X-Pac today as we film this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Very exciting.
We're also at prowrestlingtees.com/Going In Raw, which you guys can get this shirt. Pretty fancy pants. You can also get Steve W merchandise. Larson,
and fun wrestling.
how do you feel about getting your ass handed to you in the ratings this week?
It happens.
It happens. It happened this week. It's going to keep on happening. I'm going to keep on popping them ratings every week. Next week, who's going to show up? I don't know. Maybe Shay Wyatt. Where was I? Yeah, and we're also on the Patreon, patreon.com/Steven Larson, where you can contribute to the show and make it better.
Yes.
More.
But better.
But better.
I still need to order that tape.
I know.
The
We gotta
DX.
get that. The DX.
VHS tape.
We need that. We also need a Pro Wrestling Man 2000, which was the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Wrestling Almanac from 1999. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get that. Anyways.
That might be harder to find.
You think so?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. On this episode of Going In Raw, we're going to talk about NXT and 205 Live.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Yeah, so let's kick it off with NXT. I tell you what, man. I love me some NXT these days.
Yeah.
It's like maybe my favorite wrestling show right now.
Interesting.
I'll be honest with you. Because it's an hour. And these days, like when they're like doing the taping, like the jam packet. This was the last episode before Takeover San Antonio.
Correct.
So there's some interesting things to talk about. We kicked it off with Ember Moon versus Liv Morgan, who I think Liv is improving in the ring, man.
She is.
I think she's getting her reps in at the Performance Center. I think she's doing a good job.
Yes.
Still has some stuff to work on.
Yes. Ember Moon is fantastic.
Oh, she's amazing. When I say that Liv Morgan has more stuff to work on, that probably means she's going to get called up next week.
Yeah. I was thinking about something, and tell me what you think about this. Someone on our Twitter, I think, posted letting us know that Ember Moon released a shirt, or WWE released a shirt for Ember Moon.
Okay.
And the design on front's not bad. On the back, it says, I think the myth begins.
Okay.
Something along those lines. And now, that was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Which got me to thinking about how the last couple promos she's done have been very grounded. And how we both kind of wish that there was some kind of, like supernatural quality to her character.
At least like a mystique.
Yeah, something mystical. And how awesome that'd be, especially if she were to eventually, face off against Asuka. Asuka's an ass kicker. And, everybody that she's beaten up until now, she just kicked their ass. But she's never faced anybody mystical, supernatural maybe even, like Ember Moon could be. And that'd just be an interesting dynamic. I don't know if the supernatural stuff would necessarily, how that would go over in NXT, because I don't think they've really done that.
Well, Bray Wyatt was more of a cult leader when he was there.
And in NXT, Finn Balor, they really didn't push the whole demon thing too much.
Yeah, not nearly as much as they did in a short time on the main roster.
So I don't know how that would go over, but it would just be a different challenge for Asuka.
Mm-hmm.
And because everything about Ember Moon is great.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't really have a sense of who her character is.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with you. And you can juxtapose what's happening right now with the most interesting thing in the women's division in NXT, which is Nikki Cross. She's not a supernatural character, but she is definitely not a grounded character.
Yeah.
There is a mystique about Sanity.
Mm-hmm.
We don't exactly know what their deal is. If you're listening to Corey Graves, he says they want anarchy. She's an unstable personality, which eliminates so when we say grounded, it kind of there's an element of relatability there.
Yeah.
So we hear her talk, and that could be any one of our friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With Nikki Cross, when she talks, it's, oh my God, she's crazy. The thing about Asuka is that she generates fear amongst normal people because
Yes.
she is unpredictable.
Yes.
There's a mystique about her.
Yeah.
And she's obviously very dangerous.
Yes.
Nikki Cross don't give a shit because she's crazy.
Yep.
She's unstable. Ember Moon, you're right. She's grounded in her promos, so it gives me the feeling that she's simply a person who has a cool costume that looks supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a problem. And her facing off against Asuka, I don't believe that Ember Moon should be afraid of her because Ember Moon is a normal person that's relatable. Because any normal person would be afraid of Asuka.
Yeah.
Regardless of how confident you are in your abilities, you should be afraid. I mean, that was Bayley lost twice to, and she was the most relatable person there is.
Yep.
So, no, I'm completely on board with that. Ember Moon needs to, she should have been conceived of as, you're right. I'm not sure how a supernatural character
Yeah, that's what
would
I
go
thought.
over.
Something just more mystical.
But more mystical, yeah. Like she shouldn't have powers necessarily, but she should be silent, or at least talk in, iambic pentameter, perhaps.
Yeah. Or at least just kind of more
limericks.
in a more abstract fashion.
What's the other one? Haiku. She's talking haikus. No, I agree with you. Like she shouldn't be. Yeah, she should be less normal and more. Yeah, like a mystique about her. I agree. Liv Morgan's like the most down to earth person.
Yeah.
On the roster though, she's just some chick from Jersey.
Yeah.
So again, she should be scared of Asuka.
Yes.
Yeah, good match though. It ended in every Ember Moon match. It ends with that amazing
The Eclipse.
the cutter from the top rope
It's
is
fantastic.
great. And it always cracks me up because whenever you watch it back in slow motion replay, the person's always trying to put their neck out to okay, here it is.
Yeah.
Guys, go ahead and do it. It's great though. Then we got another strong interview from Andrade Cien Almas.
Great.
I feel like he is, and I'm just making this comparison because they're from similar cultures, but I feel like this is what he's like Alberto Del Rio, but with actual intensity. I feel like this guy has a real chip on his shoulder and he really wants to fuck some people up.
Yeah.
I never got that from Del Rio. Maybe that was the piece that was missing from Del Rio.
Yeah, it could be.
Because I liked everything else about Del Rio. It's just, I see what he should have been. He should have been this guy.
Yeah.
Because Almas has a natural guttural charisma that's amazing. But then you add that to his dapperness and it's that's cool. And then Roderick Strong showed up. And I don't know. I think personality to personality, Roderick Strong can't hold the candle to Andrade Almas. I love Almas. He's great. He's rooting
fantastic.
for him. He said something like, "I'm right here in front of your. I'm standing right here. Kick me in the face because you just said you're going to do that."
Yeah.
And then Almas walks away, and then Roderick Strong starts trying to talk to interview bot, and then Almas takes him down and starts laying into him and says, at one point he said something like, it was in Spanish and I forget what it is now, but he said something like, he said, "Son tu padre" or something like that. And he basically said, "I'm your dad." He said, "I'm your daddy." It was great.
What do you think if Roderick Strong, they establish him as just the finest ring technician there is?
The ringmaster, here he comes. He can wrestle any.
But he kind of feels like, at least right now, he might need a manager.
Oh, man.
And I'm not...
I feel like giving him a manager would be giving up. Would be giving up on him.
Yeah, I could see that. Don't do it right now. But if they can establish him as dominant in the ring...
I kind of feel like he needs to be a heel almost.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like he needs to be a heel.
Give him more to work with?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Because look at Almas. When
Fair
he came
point.
in as a
Fair point.
Technico...
Fair point.
Because you're right. That's the direction they need to go in as ring technician, but he needs to be a heel, dude. Because a guy who doesn't have the overwhelming personality to get by as a face kind of needs to be a heel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe by being a heel, as we've seen in past examples, they kind of find their voice.
Yeah, totally. Then we had a package with DIY Authors of Pain. I kind of fast forward through that because I don't need packages. Then we got, oh man, this is the face off of the night right here. Well, first of all, we had No Way Jose and Kona Reeves. Was it Sean Maluda? Was that his name before? Or was that a different guy? What was his name before?
It was Noah Pachis.
Pachis, that's right. Now his name is Keanu Reeves. I am an FBI agent. Anyways, he took on No Way Jose. No Way Jose, I know he's done this before. I just sort of noticed it last night.
What?
He's got a pop-up uppercut.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking great. Look, man, half the time I don't pay attention, but a pop-up uppercut is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He throws them up and just does
I know.
that.
It's like a Street Fighter move.
I thought he had a different finisher.
He used that one that was like almost like he puts him in the Cobra Clutch and then does a
Oh,
suplex.
yeah. I've liked all of his finishers.
Yeah, they're all really well incorporated into his character.
Yeah, when did he start doing that? Well, no, here's the thing, though. They're brutal. They're kind of brutal.
No, I know.
It's like, I'm going to fiesta, and I'm going to fuck you up.
Because he has that
Fiesta.
Yeah, fiesta.
Siesta's sleeping.
Yeah. Like one of his punches, he has the wind up like a baseball pitcher. And then his old finisher, where he kind of put in the Cobra Clutch, it was almost like like they were dancing. And
Yeah.
Fit his character, and this does too because still kind of he throws up and kind of still winds up a little bit before the punch.
If he stopped smiling, couldn't you see him as like the most brutal hardcore guy ever? He looked like if he stopped smiling and stopped dancing and he was like completely repackaged, man, he has a face that could be terrifying. Those eyes are so intense.
Yeah, maybe.
But then he's like, he's the happiest dude. I could just like, even his body type, he looks like a dude who could have been like Necro Butcher 2.0. You know what I mean?
Necro Butcher was never that fit.
Oh, no, I know. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about thematically. Like, the dude he has a body that looks like he's already old.
I don't know about that.
He's got like weird boobs. He doesn't look like a prototypical gym guy. Looks like he eats people, perhaps.
Well, no.
Might be cannibalistic.
Don't think so.
That hair and that beard. Like, if he stopped smiling, he was just, oh, man, he's scary. I don't know why I thought about that.
I don't know why
I could see him covered in blood. It'd be great. You wouldn't like that?
Well, I don't think they're going to do that in NXT.
No, they're definitely not going to do that. I love No Way Jose, though.
Yeah, he's great.
What's his ceiling, though? I don't want to ever see him leave NXT,
When
man.
he was in that program with Austin Aries and was getting intense with his promos, I was like, cool.
Yeah.
They're actually putting some serious dimension to his character.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. And then he lost to Austin Aries, and then ever since then, that intensity has not really been there.
You think so?
But consistently.
Yeah.
But
I don't even think they know what they're going to do with No Way Jose.
no, I agree with that.
I love him,
I don't
though.
think they know what to do with him, but he's fantastic.
Anyways, after he gave him the pop-up uppercut, I loved it. The Drifter showed up, and he's got that little sly smile like, I'm fucking with everybody here. I have found something that people just absolutely want to throw up over.
Yeah.
My fucking singing with the guitar.
It's awful.
It's awful. It's so amazing, though.
He
God,
plays.
I love it.
Ever since he's come back from injury, he plays the same 2 chords every week. It sounds like. I'm sorry, he doesn't. He doesn't.
I love it, dude. I love it.
That one week where his guitar was so out of tune, he was playing bar chords. I think. And ever since then, he just seems like he's playing first position.
Oh, I love
chords.
It's so great, and he just has that little tiny sly smile, and knowing he's
he knows
fucking with everybody.
He knows.
God, I love the Drifter. Anyways, him and No Way Jose, are they going to be on the NXT pre-show or something? What's going to happen with that?
I don't know if they have a pre-show. Oh yeah, they do. They have a couple matches they tape for TV.
Oh, okay, so we'll get that there. Eric Young versus Chris Atkins.
Squash match.
Eric Young has the pointiest, hardest. Did you notice it this week?
I don't ever notice him.
How do you not know? He
Because
looks he's made of pure leather.
No, I noticed that.
It sounds like it too.
But you're talking about, you say his nipples are long or something, right?
They're so long and so hard.
I generally watch NXT on my laptop, and for some reason I don't ever full screen it.
Yeah.
So it's it's taking up 60% of my screen or something like that.
His
so I just don't
nipples,
notice it.
how does his nipples not burn out pixels on your shit? They look like the most reflective.
This is a 4K monitor on here. I should be able to see
They
them.
look
no
like
problem.
No, listen. They look like the most reflective marbles you've ever seen. So it's not necessarily like they're long. They're so rock hard and like
Prominent.
Like
they should draw one's eye immediately.
it's as
right?
if he has invisible clamps on them. They're so hard, and he's so leathery. I love Eric Young so much.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good, and They had there were 2 Sanity entrances, and so I got to hear that song twice,
Yeah,
and I
that
love it.
Primus-inspired theme song.
Oh, it's great.
So they referred to Damo by his new name, but didn't explain why.
Crap, what's his new name?
Killian Dane.
Ah, that's like Aleister Black. They're terrible. Those are Killian Dane.
Dane. But like
Damo.
if they did a thing where, I mean, granted, it wouldn't make sense because Eric Young didn't change his name or Alexander Wolf changed his name.
I know.
But if they said, okay, you're a part of Sanity, we're gonna rename you essentially, so you can be a part of the group.
There should have been something ceremonial. You're going to be in our group.
But now it's just awkward because for weeks they referred to him as Damo, and now he just has a different name.
I know. It's annoying.
That's why I was hoping they'd have some sort of.
I like that he was
mention of
basically
it.
using Chris Adkins as like a placeholder for Ty Dillinger. Like he was slapping him and doing the 10 at him. You made the wrong choice.
Yeah, his promo at the end was pretty good.
Oh, I love Eric Young, dude. He's great. Like, it's amazing what they do with these people when they come in from like organizations who didn't use them right. But you can tell they have there's chock full of amazing talent, and they know how to use them. Sanity is great. I love Sanity. Then we got a Shane Thorne medical update.
So apparently he blew out his knee.
Blew out my knee.
They said 7 to 9 months, which is a long time.
Wait, is this so? This is for reals?
Yeah,
This
he
is
really had knee surgery.
Oh fucking hell! I thought this was like a big kayfabe thing.
No, this is something he has. This isn't something he should be selling out in public. This is something he has to sell out in public. Steve.
Okay.
Oh
man.
But I didn't know 7 to 9 months. I mean, granted, they might just be inflating that, but I thought it usually it's about 4 to 6 for knee reconstruction. But maybe since it's wrestling, it's more. I don't know.
That could be. He's also kind of old, isn't he?
I don't think so.
Isn't he? How old do you think he is? Is he above or below 30?
I'd say he's 29.
Yeah, I'd say 39 or 29.
39.
29 as well. Shane Thorne. Crikey.
31.
31. Okay, yeah. I would have said he's 36. Let's see here. Then we had the women in the. It's funny. Remember how I said I saw that video with Peyton Royce and Billie Kay?
Yeah.
And Shinsuke Nakamura, and I was thoroughly charmed. And then I go back to watching NXT, and I am really annoyed with them again. God, they're so bad.
Well, that's partially them doing their jobs. They're supposed to annoy you. They're heels.
Are they supposed to annoy me though, or am I supposed to hate them because they're really bad guys?
It could be either.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a different. Yeah, I know it can be either. You're right. I don't know, man. They're so annoying. I know you're right. They're doing a good job. That means they're doing a good job.
But they weren't necessarily the focus of this segment. This segment was all about Asuka and Nikki Cross.
Oh, I know.
Which makes me wonder, A, why wasn't it just Nikki Cross and Asuka? And B, are Peyton Royce and Billie Kay in this match simply so one of them could eat a pin?
I think that's probably the situation.
And
that
so-
has to be the situation.
So neither Nikki
But,
nor Asuka
dude,
look potentially weak.
All the screen time they've invested in Billie Kay and Peyton Royce is simply meant to get the belt off of Asuka and not give it to one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what they want to do with Peyton Royce and Billie Kay.
I don't know either.
They get a crowd reaction, but I'm not sure. Is it X-Pac heat they get?
No,
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Man, they're so obnoxious.
Yeah, but I think that's them doing their job well.
They're so just grating.
Again, I think that's them doing their job well.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, I'm kind of curious now if Asuka's going to get the win at this takeover, and it'll set up a one-on-one between her and Nikki Cross
Yeah.
at Orlando.
I kind of want Billie Kay and Peyton Royce to permanently be people that are used to protect other superstars, other NXT women. That would be good to me.
Okay.
It's a good career to have. Probably not.
One thing that was notably absent from this episode of NXT is there was no Chris Hero.
Yes, let's talk about that briefly.
So-
when we read the spoilers and people were posting pictures and videos of this set of tapings,
Including WWE themselves.
that's right. Cassius Ohno, a.k.a. Chris Hero, showed up and gave that belt over Shinsuke's shoulder a pat.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that's, but it didn't show up. Didn't happen.
It means one of two things. Either that's airing the next episode of NXT.
Right.
Which means Bobby Roode's not winning that belt.
Yes.
Which means he might be out of the title picture entirely after TakeOver. Or that was just something for the fans in attendance.
Which also leaves the door open for them to keep his Chris Hero name because he hasn't made his canon debut yet. So I don't know. It would be, God, that'd be so weird though for them to basically telegraph Bobby Roode.
I know.
Not winning it at San Antonio.
I know.
We also had 205 Live, which I was kind of bored throughout. I'll be honest with you. I'm the appeal of 205 Live is getting lost on me very quickly.
The Neville Cedric Alexander match was good. Some decent storytelling.
All right, yeah, let's run through this. So we got a Neville interview, which
It was an odd way to kick off the show.
Yeah. Then we had T.J. Perkins versus Tony Nese, the premier athlete. I don't care about who won that match. T.J.
Perkins.
Perkins.
And then
right.
Tony Nese attacked him after the match.
Yeah, I
And
like
then-
Tony Nese.
Yeah. He kept screaming, I won that match. Tony Nese did.
yeah. Then we had Brian Kendrick versus Trip Bradshaw. Very long guy.
He was a local competitor from Toledo, I think they were.
Oh, okay. All right. Good for him. Getting some screen time. Brian Kendrick continuing his goal of humiliating lesser opponents because he comes out and he just runs them down and then he gets the win. So they're giving him something to do. 205 Live, it just feels like they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with it.
Yes.
Especially because apparently it's not doing all that well on the network.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like according to Meltzer, that's like a talking point right now within the company, what to do about 205 Live.
Maybe they realize they should let them wrestle the style they are accustomed to wrestling.
You know what we need? Fashion police. Then and Kendrick won that match. Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann were backstage. I kind of like this segment.
Yeah.
Two guys with a good back and forth where Cedric was basically saying, because Cedric was taking on Neville later on in the night, and he was soliciting Rich Swann for some advice, basically. And Rich Swann said, let him make the mistake.
Yep.
But Cedric didn't do that because Neville ended up winning.
Yeah. Well, there was some interference from Noam Dar.
Yeah.
And then let me ask you this. The finish of this match saw Cedric Alexander slip off the ropes, which seems like an intentional botch.
I think it was an intentional botch, yeah. I do.
Especially in consideration of the conversation you had with Rich Swann.
He made the mistake. He made the first mistake. And then Noam Dar tried to get Neville to, have an impromptu team up there at the end after the match.
Neville was having none of it.
And he had none of it. Threw Noam Dar out of the ring. Rich Swann came down as Neville continued to attack Cedric Alexander.
Swann and Neville just kind of fought.
Yeah.
Security tried to keep them apart.
Yeah. Oh, that was the cool thing in NXT. That was a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So that ended with Asuka and Nikki Cross going at it, but then security came down and tried to separate them, and both women were able to fend off multiple security guards.
That was great.
In one time, and I loved that.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
I loved it. And how great is it that the go-home segment for the go-home episode of NXT focused on Asuka's title and not Shinsuke Bobby Roode? That was last week.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was great.
That's why NXT is the best. Anyways, getting back to 205 Live, Rich Swann and Neville. You think Neville's getting this title?
Oh, yeah.
I think so, too. But I liked Rich Swann in this episode.
Yeah.
I just think that Neville is a beast right now, and they want to give him
His character's so well defined.
all the love.
And he's doing such great work.
He is doing really great work. Do we have questions to answer
We
about
do.
NXT and 205
We have
Live?
lots of them.
All right, well, let's get to some. Oh, no. Cesaro, man down.
Oh, no. I'll start
Man
from the
down.
top. Magnum TA champion, Nathan Ragland. Oh, this is where I read about the shirt, the Ember Moon shirt. They just released an amazing shirt for Ember Moon. If you guys were given the chance to design a shirt for any wrestler, who would it be and what would it look like? Nathan Ragland would give No Way Jose a Miami Vice style shirt. That'd be neat.
Oh, that'd be really cool. That'd be
Really
way better than what he has now.
You have said that you did design something for the club.
Yeah, I'm kind of over that now. I did. It's fine. Looks like the Dirt Sheet logo. I want to be in charge of Sanity's branding. That's what I want. Give me Sanity.
Okay.
I think it'd be rad.
Yeah.
It'd be fantastic.
I'm trying to think here.
I want Sanity. I want Shinsuke Nakamura, although they're doing a decent job with his stuff right now.
Yeah, it's okay.
Who has...
Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins needs...
Oh, my God. Please, somebody give me Seth Rollins. No, you know what? Just whoever does his...
Exactly.
What is his academy called?
The Black and the Brave?
Yeah, something like that.
Or is it just Black and Brave? Something like that.
Anyways, whoever does his academy apparel, give him Seth Rollins' apparel because that is really cool merchandise.
Yeah, it's really good.
Trying to think who else. Whoever does the Wyatts does a bang up job.
Yeah.
Their shit is fucking great.
Yeah.
Next question. I don't have them up, so you have to read them.
Oh, sorry. Yes, the Black and the Brave Wrestling
There you
Academy.
go.
I'll get the name right.
Their fucking merch is off the hook.
Yeah, it is.
Dude. I gotta steal some of their ideas.
Kenny Omega's best friend, Terrence Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have talked several times about which women in the company could go toe-to-toe with the male superstars. Nikki Cross and Asuka both genuinely scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, man.
Which one of the two could successfully cross over and face male competition?
Asuka.
Yeah.
Definitely Asuka.
Yeah.
Because
Definitely.
it kind of hurts Nikki Cross's case when the other members of Sanity, kind of without much, without breaking a sweat, can just sort of take her and remove her from a situation where she's starting to beat up on somebody. They just sort of go, okay, come here.
But that's also her allies. I mean, if you weren't her ally.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. I'm just saying, like, Asuka.
Trickiest Dick Nixon. You guys have been asked to think of ideas to push wrestlers, but what about ideas to de-push someone? Take main event level talent and stick them with gimmicks that would drop them to the bottom of the card. Sorry. My idea would be to take Samoa Joe, but switch him to become Rikishi 2.0. What would you guys do? Sorry. No, as far as Joe.
Wait, what? Hold on, sorry, I was trying to get this up. You guys think I did push really well? Seamless gimmicks and drama. Wait, what? Ideas to de-push someone. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. No, I wouldn't do that with Samoa Joe at all. That's horrible. That's
horrible.
horrifying.
That's real bad.
But if that's the question, like if you want to de-push somebody, let's say somebody who I want to actually be de-pushed, Roman Reigns.
Yes.
How would I de-push him?
Well, I think the first step would be take that vest off him. That seems to be the source of his power.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
First step.
I would do this. I would just make him I would make the Usos and Roman Reigns the New Day of SmackDown, but give them the same screen time and exposure as the Usos are currently getting.
Okay.
So you basically would never see him. Oh, that'd be horrible.
That would be horrible.
Yeah, I would take Eric Young and make him an accountant. That's what I would do.
Terrible. Terrible.
Do you have your W-2?
Terrible.
No.
Haven Elric. After the Rude and Shinsuke rivalry is over, who is the next contender for the NXT title? He says Andrade Cien Almas.
I'm not sure if they want that for Almas, although I'd love that.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be really cool.
Well, I feel like Shinsuke will retain in San Antonio. Rude will get the belt in Orlando.
Okay, let's talk about 2017. Let's run down some of the NXT guys that we think have a chance of being champion, and will they? Ty Dillinger, you seem certain that he's going to get it.
Yeah, although now, well, that was before Cassius Ohno came back.
Yeah, okay.
He's going to be in that picture for sure during the course of this year.
What about Eric Young?
Maybe towards the end of the year.
I think towards the end of the year, Eric
maybe.
Young, yeah.
Even towards the end of the year, I wouldn't discount Almas either.
Yeah, me too.
Or Roderick Strong.
Yeah. They were all in that fatal four-way for the number one contendership, and I think they're all contenders. So, yeah, those are good answers. Solid answers there. Manuel Garcia de Paredes. How about the stakes for trivia and Kayfabe Corner from here to Mania is that if Larson loses, he has to use the Slapnuts shirt and Too Sweet Steve on air. It's not going to happen. Like, you don't Too Sweet. So you think, try it out here?
Well, look at this. This is if you lose, you have to wear the shirt and then not swear an entire week.
Oh, I can go without swearing.
Yeah, no, it's not much of a punishment for you.
It's kind of a lopsided.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't agree to your terms.
He says no.
Lunatic Fridge. After Ty Dillinger being in 2K17 DLC, he's become my favorite NXT person along with Bobby Roode and the Sanity clique.
Yeah.
His question is, what is Ty's ceiling on the main roster if he gets the NXT belt? You said his ceiling before, but I believe with better booking than Sammy currently, basically just more wins, he honestly in a few more years might be main event material. I think Ty's kind of up there in age. I think he's in his mid-30s.
Yeah.
I think his most likely main roster career would be something akin to Dolph.
Yes, I agree with that completely.
Upper mid-card.
Entirely.
Maybe have occasional programs for the world title, but I think upper mid-card.
Not going to happen. IC title, especially after the draft when things are mixed up and then you have more different people on SmackDown who also have to have the world title. IC title.
Yeah.
Nicholas Grosskirth. In hindsight, was it a mistake featuring guys like Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. in the Cruiserweight Classic without a contract? Are they the something missing from 205 Live?
I mean, Kota Ibushi would be fantastic.
I know, but here's the thing, dude.
But
you put Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. in 205 Live, you have the same problem. They don't let them do what they do, and you have dead crowds because they're already tired from SmackDown.
Yep.
That's your problem.
Yep.
1A, 1B, those are the problems.
Yep. There you go.
Melvin.
No, you skipped one.
What?
Oh, he already asked another question.
You already asked one.
All right, Melvin. Proud first-time patron here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Melvin's been watching the old Rumble matches the last 2 weeks, and it's made me think the booking or Roman being taken out of the Rumble last year just to come back later is nearly identical to the booking of the 98 Rumble having Stone Cold be taken to the hospital only to come back. Remember fans geeking out over Austin, yet it just fueled the hatred for Reigns. Is this a case of so-called smarter fans now that look at booking more than just enjoying the action, or just more fuel to the fire of a guy that has felt force-fed to us and not organic like Austin? He's not comparing the athletes, just the booking decision. 98 Royal Rumble, Austin gets beat up. I don't remember the extent of the attack on Austin that forced him out of the match. Because Reigns took one move through a table and then they had to take him to the back, and it didn't seem like enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Like, I think Rusev just did a splash on him through the table.
Here's the thing. Stone Cold had such a intensity to him. Roman Reigns, everything about him is so casual.
Yes.
And so when Stone Cold goes to the hospital, they're basically dragging him there.
They strap him to the gurney, essentially. And then when he comes back, he's got a fire under his ass. And he's going in there to whoop ass.
Exactly.
Whereas when Reigns came out, he just kind of sauntered out.
And back then in 98, literally everybody in the Rumble could have won it. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it's like if you look at who was in the Rumble at that point.
There's at least 10 reasonable contenders, yeah.
Exactly. And so him coming back and winning it wasn't a certainty. With Reigns, we all saw the writing on the wall immediately. Man dying of thirst, official Waterboy Robert Draftmaster Chacon. What are your thoughts on the fire Rich Swann is finally showing against Neville? We know he's going to lose his belt to the Rumble, but his aggression towards Neville has finally hit a new level to where they have a hard time keeping him off him.
It's good.
A little too little, too late.
Yeah.
If he had shown this the entire time, maybe it would have been interesting. But
the sourpuss promo, that's what did it for you, huh?
Pretty much, man. Yeah, just he can't. There's not a lot of recovering from that. I think that I don't know. Like Rich Swann is kind of limited to me because it's hard for me to tell. I want to take my champions seriously, and so when he comes out and does some cool dance moves, it doesn't do much for me. Just doesn't do much for me.
Kurt Schwuski. If Liv Morgan ever makes it to the main roster, which I don't think would be for a while, do you think her and Carmella will form a team? They have similar gimmicks. They have nearly identical gimmicks.
Thank you, yeah.
So one of them, probably Liv, will need a slight repackage.
I don't think so. I think Liv would just have to go to Raw.
Or that.
Just keep her on a different brand.
Show.
But it wouldn't surprise me if there was a slight repackage. You might be right about that. But I think I'll put it this way. I think Raw could really use Liv Morgan fast forward 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
because they need somebody who can take pins. Mm-hmm. She's not like a title contender anytime soon.
No.
And they kind of need people like that. Excellence of Flexecution. Patreon number 500 here. Really? That's
Thank you
cool.
very much.
Yeah. With Nakamura's takeover entrances escalating from one violin player to a dozen, what do you expect for his main roster debut, especially if it's at Mania? I'm thinking you open with a 30-minute Michael Bay film.
Okay.
About Shinsuke Nakamura.
Well, live scored by a complete orchestra.
And then, that's pretty much it. That's good. Yeah, it's good. It's all good stuff. Michael Bay and a giant. Do you want to take this one or me?
I did it last time.
El Ingobernable de Tejas, Adam Mayhem, a.k.a. Alberto Alomar.
Nice. Hey, friendo. So, since everyone and their mom wants Ty Dillinger to come out in the Rumble at number 10, would it be possible to not debut Ty at the Rumble and actually give him the Daniel Bryan treatment when he didn't participate and ended up winning it all at Mania because of fan support? Maybe Ty won't win the big one, but maybe the IC belt or something.
You can't give Ty Dillon. Nobody can get the Daniel Bryan treatment except for Sami Zayn and Bayley.
Yeah.
Only two people can get the Daniel Bryan treatment.
Yes.
Australia's finest patron, Husky Harris. Hey, friendos, it was the ultimate swerve. I didn't pledge that $50, but I swear next week I will. Oh, I guess he had said that he would. Look, if you can, great. If you have the means, awesome. If not, we love you anyways. How would you rate the WWE product as a whole coming off 2016? Personally, for him, it's 50-50, as he loves how the WWE has progressed in terms of involving indie talent and how they are browsing other parts of the globe with their recent tournaments. However, he is upset with how stories are both being told, how shows are run, like Raw and 205, and how people are being pushed or not pushed.
C+.
C+. He says, can Steve say something defending the WWE as Vince? It's an A+.
That's a sturdy defense there of your product, Vince.
It's all very good.
Okay, much better. Much better.
Oh man, I don't know. I'll go a B- because I'm not bored by a lot of their product. I am bored by some of their product.
Yeah.
Let me think about this. I don't like 205 Live. I don't like about an hour and a half of. I don't like half of Raw. I'm usually interested in about an hour and a half of Raw. I like all of SmackDown, so I like 3.5 hours of product. Oh, and I love NXT. Mm-hmm. So I like 4.5 hours of their product, and I like 2.5 hours. So to me, that's a B-.
Okay. Well, I said C+. That's comparable.
I know. I did your answer only slightly better.
Oh, okay. You just went into more detail.
There you go. Matthew Audet. Oh man, this guy and his belt creations.
That Luger belt was fantastic.
It's a work of art.
Did you see the Steiner one?
I did, didn't I? It was not as good as the Luger belt.
The Luger one is a masterpiece.
It really is. Matthew Audet might have to quit at this point because I'm not sure he can top the Luger belt.
Maybe.
Oh man,
it's worth trying.
It's worth trying. Keep trying. I'm
Yes.
just saying, if you want to go out on top, if you want to be known as the legend,
as the total package of belt making.
Exactly.
His question: if Vince McMahon would let you have a podcast special on WWE Network, who would be your guests on the podcast? Triple H.
We've kind of said this before. Who would be our one podcast special? We get our audience with Vince. I love what you do, so bring it to the network.
Oh, thanks, Vince.
For
That's
one
nice.
episode.
Oh, okay.
What do you want more?
Well, I mean, I'm fine seeing how the first one goes.
I think people will love 1 hour.
Okay. We usually try to stick to an hour.
Okay. Yeah, we can have anybody on the show. You say Triple H. I mean, look, we saw how Lenny Omega popped Steve W's ratings and ended up destroying. I'm pretty sure that like people were so turned on by Lenny Omega that they decided to just stop watching Fun Wrestling. That's what happened to you this week.
No, I think Thirsty Man's just not much of a draw. You got pushed to the top too soon.
If you want to hire my marketing department to learn how I did it,
that'd be hiring you.
Then we can talk about it.
I'm not going to do that.
We can talk about it. God, I don't know. I'm not going to automatically say Triple H. But I'm trying to think of who I would want.
You know, it'd be interesting is not to necessarily hear from Triple H, but for some of the producers and agents who work backstage.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I'll go back. I'll agree with you. I'd say Triple H, because there's so much. There are so many points that we could bring. Like when people say, "Hey, why isn't Shinsuke on main?" and he says, "I think it's funny because people get him on NXT." I kind of want to call him out on that and say, that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It would be really interesting to pick his brain though, and see how we could sort of dance around his, the things that he obviously can't talk about.
Yeah.
His like actual frustrations perhaps with the way certain things like the Cruiserweight Classic then gets turned into 205 Live, probably not the way he wants it to be.
Yes. Broken World Champion Jacob Omega. Hey, friendos, what do you think the ceiling is for the following NXT stars? There's a lot of them here. So
Okay.
let's do briefly one by one. Cassius Ohno. NXT champion, maybe mid-card belt.
Yeah, U.S. champion, yeah.
Yeah, Eric Young. NXT champion, mid-card belt.
Yeah.
Damo.
God, you know what? I'll say this on Eric Young, world champion.
Okay.
Because I think he can follow in Bray's footsteps.
Okay.
I think Sanity is akin to the Wyatt family.
Damo.
U.S. champ.
Elias Sampson. Top of the card? No.
Not NXT champ.
Okay. Hideo Itami.
Oh, man.
Cruiserweight champion.
If they get 205 Live fixed, then yeah, oh, God, he could easily be Cruiserweight champ.
Austin Aries.
Oh, they're going to literally hand the belt over to him as soon as he's healthy.
I know.
And he's going to hopefully have it for a long time.
I know. Bobby Roode.
Oh, world champ.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Bobby Roode. World champ easily. Poor life decisions champion Drew Compton. Let's make this the last question. We got a lot to do today.
Yes, we do.
Sorry to ask a SmackDown question a few days removed. That's okay. But I barely got a chance to watch it on Wednesday night, and I also avoided watching Going in Raw to duck the spoilers. He has this feeling after the Styles Cena promo that Cena may have inadvertently telegraphed his loss at the Rumble by never having actually said that he would beat AJ. Bret Hart once said that when he'd cut babyface promos for a fight he was going to lose, he wouldn't say he'd beat his opponent because his character would then be made a liar. That's interesting. That is a very interesting point to make. He says, thanks, gents. Do boobies. What the fuck? That's great. Do boobies. Yeah, do boobies.
I'm trying to go back and recall. Did Cena even say that he was going to take the belt? I don't remember. Or did he just do the "you have something that belongs to me" thing again?
Yeah, he just and they downplayed. Somebody made this. Meltzer made it. No, who made this point? Somebody made this point on the Twitters, I think, that maybe it was the Observer. I don't know. That they really downplayed tying the record this past week on SmackDown. Yeah, man, I think AJ's going to retain.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because again, it'd be odd to have two world champion title switches.
I don't even think it's a given, especially if Undertaker Reigns is the plan for Reigns to win the Universal title. We could see.
God, I think you're right, man. I think you're right.
We could see both Owens and AJ retain.
Yeah. We'll talk about those in our predictions episode. But no, that is a really interesting point, and I really wonder if anybody else takes that.
That seems like a very Bret Hart thing to do, though.
It's a very Bret Hart thing to do, but that's one of the things. This is a Bret Hart thing that I actually really love.
Yeah, I do too.
I actually really like that because we talk some shit about Bret Hart, but you have to appreciate. And I said this in the dirt sheet about and we referenced it here about guys taking that kayfabe and really running with it.
Yeah.
If Bret Hart had a fucking injury to his knee, if he's going out for a smoothie, he's wearing crutches.
You think so?
Even if it's not a real injury. Are you kidding me? Bret Hart? That dude, all he cared about was his character. Mm-hmm. All he cared about was what is that character's deal and how do I make this real for people? And I respect that.
I respect it too.
Do I expect it? No. Do I respect it? Yes.
I agree with you.
Yeah. That's it for NXT 205 League.
Yeah.
And then talk to you guys later.
Yeah, bye.